Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday, the 14th of August. Yesterday it just continued going early in the morning. Let's see what we got in store today. Hopefully, we're going to get some reversals this morning, or a few reversals. But before we do that, just quick check. Today is all about inflation. And a bit of GDP actually, because UK GDP's come ahead of expectation here. Australian employment data pretty much in line with expectation, but the UK GDP figures higher than expected, and actually, yeah, higher than expected. Still lower than previous on the figures there, but anyway, a positive surprise this morning there. The main detail then is the PPI for the US this afternoon. That can give us quite, with all eyes on inflation, obviously that's an inflation number, it's going to have an effect there. Unemployment claims as well. We've got Trump speaking again. Okay, I'm not too sure, but it's probably a bit of everything that's expected to come out from that speech. Right, let's get on and look at what's going on. So starting off with the euro dollar here. Euro, for some reason, well, it's still in high lows, high highs overall. For some reason this morning, right now, we've put this horrible triangular pattern in there, and it's broken to the downside, and looking a little bit ugly from where it is at this stage. We'll see how it reacts this morning. Again, you can just dive into things like this, but it's in a market that's been largely moving upwards. We've got some potential support into that hourly 50. It is pre 8 o'clock. It could all turn on a dime. So personally, I'll wait to see what happens on this. The original sort of move was to the upside. I would be looking at seeing if we get a break. Just move this across there. See if we can get a break back above this area for a more bullish view, but not looking overly pretty at this stage. The pound looking a bit prettier though, but saying that, it's a bit of a regression trade happened at the moment, or has been happening. The overall trend still here is still sort of positive. Have we broken those highs there? Not quite. Oh yes, we have. We've broken those prior highs there now, so it's looking more positive anyway. In the intermediate time frame here, high lows, high highs. Not much in the way of retracements when these have pulled back. It's looking more positive. From a weekly perspective, we're into the R2. That might just stall things and slow things down here. It's probably got some divergence across those highs as well. Let's have a look. Yep, it's divergence sitting across the highs there, but that's not tradable until it breaks below the pivot effectively. It's around about the point where that would come into play, and even then, don't get too carried away thinking, well, it's going to be the end of the market. It's often just the depth of the point of divergence that we see a move come from. Okay, so that is it's just a bit of patience here this morning. This again may post 8 o'clock, push back up again there. I'd be looking for it on the upper side here to be running back into its daily R2 if it hasn't hit this pivot. But we'll see what happens post 8 o'clock on that. But it's looking like it's thereabouts. So dollar yen, well, it's pushed off. It's continued off this morning actually. Yesterday it's put this lovely little pivot swing in there, broken the lows of yesterday, and looking like it's possibly got more downside here. This is possibly brought in by comments from a US speaker suggesting that interest rates would be increased in Japan. Don't know if that was an instruction, but anyway, we've seen the market rolling back here. Quite a big move so far today. It's already running down to its S2. We'll see what happens. There is the potential for it to push through, or just remain stronger, consolidate and remain stronger against its peers, such as the euro yen, etc., the other cross pairs. Okay, Aussie dollar. The Aussie's coming off, sort of managed to pick up again yesterday. It's come off quite strongly here again. I would imagine there's some, not so much actually. I was looking to see if there's some divergence, but it's pulled back up there. Certainly on this time frame, there's nothing sitting there. There will probably be some here. There we go. There it is. It's on the hourlies, and that's just on the point of triggering the downside from that. So there is a chance of we'll see that range on a one-to-one basis, so running back down below its S1 at this rate. So that's just cooking there. Too early for me to trade because it's pre 8 o'clock, just for my trading rules, but it's got the potential to carry on pushing through. US dollar CAD continuing up from a daily perspective in a very tight range. You see it on the 4 hours here as well. It's not really quite correlated with the US dollar at the moment. It doesn't seem to be stepping out too much in terms of difference here. The US dollar just pushing up a little bit at the moment against the CAD, but overall there's quite a tighter correlation on the upper time frames at least. We'll see what happens. I really don't like that as a trading pair at the moment. New Zealand dollar following the Aussie. It's already didn't have the divergences, but it's put a lower high in, and again, well, we'll just get. I think we pretty much got equal throws on that. Could still run off down towards its S1. Not such a set up there, but it is looking soft. But not with such mileage in it. US dollar Swissy, so big picture here. It too is a bit like the Canadian dollar in terms of not really pushing away from the dollar. Dollar holding either way. This morning, the dollar pushing up against it a tad. After yesterday's move down there, it all changed at 11 o'clock yesterday, and since 11 o'clock we've seen the big change here, or I say the big change, a part trade change. For the continuation of these sort of moves, well, it hasn't got much of a continuation on the 4 hourly, the daily, but it's got a sort of a bear flag here on the 4 hourly. So really, I'd be looking, if I was trying to catch this and we saw a bit of dollar weakness coming through, I'd look at the break of the daily pivot here and trade it down towards the S1. Okay, like the euro yen, as I said, these cross pairs, the yen is remaining the stronger at the moment, and we're seeing the euro rolling across here as well. Lower highs diverged up here, broken that. It's done its target from that point of view. Now, well, it's done a long old way there. I can't see anything right yet, and having gone all the way through its R1, R2, R3, probabilities are not great for it to continue so much. Euro pound, it's been a good one to me this week in terms of catching trades on the short side. You could argue, well, you should be just shorting it and holding it, and possibly yes, and possibly adding into it again, yes. But yesterday it came down from its movement here, and it just continued through. It is looking soft. Now, why don't I just sell into it, hold into it, and add into it? Well, largely because there's so much. The markets have eased it back to a degree, but I just don't trust the markets that much, and we can get huge movements. Okay, on this one it came down here quite largely, but you'd have been looking at the longs at that time, so it can go quite against you quite quickly. And it's just that you've got to adapt to the news that's coming out. At the moment, though, this is, well, we'll see what happens. If it can get back up again, it might give an opportunity for another short. So I'm looking for really retracements to sell into, maybe into the sort of lower time frames. Right, maybe not catch one today. the main crosses. So there are a few things there that are looking like they could go. The gold, let's just quick look at gold. It's not had a lot going on, and it's still quite ugly on this sort of daily basis, and very ugly on the 4-hourly. For me, it's not worth trying to do anything with. Oil has been picking up a lot better from a daily point of view. We started getting a bit more of a trend, and it's just fine picking the trades. Then it's quite ugly in terms of what it's doing. Yesterday it did start rolling over, and it got back into the main trend there. At that point, 2 o'clock is the key point for me to start looking at trades, but it was quite a bit of time before it started rolling off here. It's again looking like I'm really just waiting for shorts again, so just looking for maybe this afternoon again. My preference is to trade it post 2 o'clock. If we can get a breakdown of this pivot down to the S1 would be quite nice. Yesterday's lows, so that's potentially setting there. S&Ps all time highs again yesterday, pulling away a little bit at the moment, but there's nothing really here too much to say don't go with. Again, preference to trade this in its own market time frame. It could catch something later. It didn't do too much yesterday, more than it had already done there, and rolled over at 3. We'll see what happens. The FTSE coming off again here. It's really looking quite ugly. It's not managed to break these prior high, this sort of area here. It's got around it, but reacting. So it's triple topping effectively on the 4-hourly point of view. From a 4-hourly point of view, gap here. The gap's there, and well, if we was to see a reversal, perhaps that gap would be a target. But for now, it's looking soft. Don't particularly want to be in it either way. If I'm looking for shorts, it's often the DAX I'm looking at, but this is getting a bit ugly on the dailies at the moment. A bit sideward action. It's been an okay scalp for me earlier this week, a couple of times, but at the moment not overly liking what I'm seeing here on the short term. It put the pivot swing in there earlier. It's just running into 8 o'clock and it's starting to push up. Maybe we'll get some more upside there, but it's just the overall pattern here. It put a lower high in at this point here. Yes, it may go and break that again, but there's indecision within that market. Right, okay, unless you guys have got any questions, I'm going to be out of here for now this morning. As I say, there are potential opportunities. We're seeing the euro turning at the moment. There we go. And it could come into play later for the R1 to see how it plays. To hold it beyond that is risky. If it doesn't start picking up quickish, I won't be trying to be trading it through the 1:30 news later. So there we go. I will leave you there. Have a great day, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.